by the end of the semester, I had already planned I was going to go to Europe. I was going to take a backpack and travel around to the capitals of Western Europe. Okay. Because Eastern Europe was still behind the Iron Curtain. That's how old I am.
Okay.
So I heard about this group that put out the Word of Life. They were called the Focolare movement.
Yes.
And the priest who had introduced us to that said, well, there are places in Italy where the seminarians have formation in this spirituality. So I said, oh, what's the address? Okay. So I get to Europe, and within 2 or 3 days, I'm in a little town on the banks of the Arno River south of Florence. Okay. So Tuscany, right? The fairy tale land of great food, beautiful landscapes, and this little place where at that time for the summer, there were probably 40 priests and seminarians. During the course of the year, there would maybe be as many as 100 spending time there trying to learn how to love your neighbor and then how to start over when you fail. So I showed up. They welcomed me with great open arms, et cetera. I didn't think I was going to stay. Initially, I thought I'd be there for a day. Okay, maybe 2. And the next morning I woke up and they said, would you be happy working in the kitchen with Thomas? He was a German priest. I said, yeah, sure. So he said, and then we had our meditation together where that day we were going to try to live a particular word while we're washing dishes, while we're harvesting vegetables out of the garden, while we're cooking lunch for the rest of the house, et cetera. And then just building relationship. And I got hooked and I stayed for 5.5 weeks. Then 5.5 weeks, I never went to Rome. I never went to any other capital. They invited me to go to a seminarian retreat for 2 weeks in Switzerland. So I, again, changed my plans and went to Switzerland to go deeper into this. And I just knew by the end of that experience that I had discovered again kind of the inspiring spark, you know.
Because the whole time you're in seminary, it's like study, right? It's all abstract.
And the spirituality has to do with not just an individual journey, but a collective journey. Because that spirituality of the Focolare focuses on unity.
Yes.
On building mutual love, you know, in very concrete ways, like in family life, you know. And that's very real, very incarnational. Like the word has to become flesh in the reality of daily life. So
at any point, did you think about joining the Focolare?
Well, the Focolare doesn't really have, it's not like an order of priests that you can say transfer from your diocese to become a Focolare priest. What they do have are diocesan priests who try to live the spirituality of the Focolare. So I am involved in that. So, yeah.
Or was it in the back of your mind like, hey, if ever I discern out going to the Focolare?
Absolutely. In fact, that was one of the key moments was when the issue of celibacy kind of came to the fore, you know, and began to realize that I have to make a real decision for this, you know, and a positive choice that this is what God is inviting me to, and not approach it as if it was just something that kind of came with the house, you know. And what came out of that discernment was if I didn't become a priest, I would become a Focolarino.